Hi guys, this is my very first ever vlog, vlog, I think, vlog, right? I've never done one before, it's completely new to me and I'm very camera shy, wary, not sure how this is going to go, so please bear with me. I was inspired by a good friend of mine, Liliana Anderson. She has a really great vlog that you should check out on her website. She's a fantastic Australian writer. There are so many great Aussie writers out there at the moment. CJ Duggan, Jess Roscoe, the list is endless. You should read all of their work, it's great. Feeling very inspired in my new homeland. Anyway, the reason for my vlog today one was to congratulate Chris Lindemann Seek for winning my giveaway of the notebook that I've set up for my Lost Hope cover release, which is happening on the 10th, which is really exciting. So she won the notebook. She's part of the street team that I host, and she entered a contest on there. So Chris, that's going to be winging its way to you really, really soon. I've even given you a little bit of a thing inside. I've written some stuff for you inside, so that will be going in the post tomorrow. The second reason for my vlog today is because I wanted to share with you guys a teaser chapter from either my third book in the Hope series, which is Lost Hope, and the second book being Radicals, the second novel in the Blood and Fire series. And I posted on Facebook to see which one you guys would like to hear from, and the response was pretty unanimous. It was Radicals. So I went out and burnt my Lost Hope manuscript, which was pretty rough, but I'll get over it in time, I suppose. Might cry later, but I'll work through it, don't worry. So yeah, I'm going to read you the chapter that I wanted to share from Radicals. It does have some spoilers in it, so if you haven't read Halo, you probably don't want to listen, or maybe you don't care, I don't know. But either way, there's stuff in it that will be confusing if you haven't read Halo. It's not the first chapter, but it's a chapter that I really, really enjoyed writing, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. Now, just a mini disclaimer. I'm probably going to trip over my words like 100 times during this because I don't read very well out loud. So I hope it's not too distracting. I hope that it doesn't completely ruin the flow of me reading, and yeah, I hope you guys like it. Anyway, I'm just going to turn off my computer so it doesn't make lots of noises whilst I'm reading. Okay, here we go. On top of the bluff that overlooks the beach Riker used to train on, Freetown shows its scars more obviously than at ground level. Everything was always kind of crazy down there anyway, but from a distance you used to be able to make out some sort of regimented organisation to the countless tents and walkways. Now there are great gouges in the land and scorched black depressions that tell stories. Burning, explosions, running, fear, anger, loss. From our vantage point we can read it all as easily as if we were reading it from a book. Overhead the sky looks like it's boiling, all angry reds, oranges and pinks. The effect is quite unsettling, and if you half close your eyes it would be easy to believe that Freetown is still ablaze. Riker lets me sit between his legs, my back resting against his chest, and we stare over the destruction for a quiet minute, trying to take it all in. We can't, of course. Down there, families are homeless, their possessions and food stores gone. People are dead, children are parentless. There's a deep fury running like a river in the hearts of Freetown's people, and the sanctuary is the sole cause. Riker wasn't wrong when he said the people were going to go to war. It's on the tip of everyone's tongue, visible in the hard looks that are passed around and traded in place of insufficient words. There is no point in ranting about injustice and unfairness, and so the people of Freetown don't do it. Instead, they make silent plans to kill with a barely defined nod or a consolatory clap on the back. "Are you nervous?" Riker breathed softly into my ear. His words remind me of Caius asking me something similar. "Are you worried?" My halo had still been firmly in place and working the day we'd fought. and I told him I wasn't worried. Wasn't worried that he would beat me. Wasn't worried about killing him in order to win my match. I close my eyes and try not to think about Caius and what I did to him. Yeah, I say, I'm a little worried. Do you think I'll actually even make it inside today? Since we have arrived back at Freetown 7 days ago, I have been called to see the High Priestess 3 times. This makes the 4th. And each and every time I reach the keep, I'm informed that the withered old woman isn't ready to see me after all. She's supposed to have had a vision, one in which I'm the star player. But I have no idea what it was about, whether it means she's going to renew her efforts to have me killed at the earliest possible juncture. Who knows, maybe, Riker says softly over my shoulder. I blow a sharp breath down my nose. She's screwing with me, asserting her power. Probably, but there's not a lot we can do about it right now. If you don't go, everyone's going to object. I don't understand why everyone's suddenly so religious, I mumble. How can you not? Their family members have just been killed. It's an immediate reaction for the grieving to believe that their loved ones aren't really gone, just on the other side. They cling to that. That makes total sense, but it still sounds like hypocrisy to me. I lean my head back and Riker nuzzles into my neck. A wave of heat tumbles through me, foreign and confronting. It makes me feel different. Riker makes a soft humming noise against my skin, his lips pressed to me, and stops what he's doing. Somehow he knows when I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Despite everything that's happened and being entirely free of the Halo's drugs, I'm still learning how to do all of this. It's taking time. Okay, little kid, Riker says softly. It's time to go. And we go. The keep thrusts out of the ground like the jagged prongs of a trident, the dark black pillars more claw-like than ever. I'm filled with the same sense of foreboding that I get every time I see the sinister formation of rock, the one that tells me it's a dangerous place, a place I should avoid at all costs. 4 priestesses wait at the mouth of the keep, and I have plenty of time to get angry on the journey down the Holy Walk. This is the same reception party that has awaited me on my last 3 visits to the priestesses' sanctuary, and I'm in no mood to be told to turn around again and go back the way I have come another time. I swear, your expressions alone could kill, Riker mutters as we stomp through the mud towards the yawning mouth at the base of the keep. I've been told this a couple of times now, and I only wish it were true. That would free me from expending a lot of energy. We arrive in front of the priestesses, and instead of forming a line in front of the entranceway as usual, this time they part so that we can pass through. Riker looks relieved, like he knows what kind of hell I was planning on raising. I know I should take my boots off, but I don't. Instead, I kick off some of the dirt caked onto the leather, and Riker does the same, and then we pass the priestesses, 2 on either side of us. They remain silent. We walk down the narrow, long passageway that Olivia first took me down weeks ago, and I'm still disturbed by the closed-in feeling and how the torches mounted on the stonework send flickering shadows dancing up the walls. At the split in the passageway, a lone priestess waits for us. She inclines her head and turns, heading down the left-hand fork. We follow the other 4 priestesses moving like wraiths behind us, and Riker takes my hand. The pathway takes a pronounced slope, and we're heading down underground, the walls of the tunnel tightening around us as we descend. I keep my mouth shut, but I'm not happy. I eventually have to let go of Riker's hand so that we can walk single file when the way becomes too narrow. A smell begins to develop, one that has me breathing through my mouth, sulfur and something else, something rank. Sheesh, they really could use some ventilation down here, Riker says, far too loud. Everyone else in Freetown is used to talking openly about the priestesses as though they aren't there, but I have yet to learn how to do that. His words make me flinch. After another minute of walking in the air growing thicker and hotter and more difficult to breathe, we arrive in a natural cavern, small, in the middle of which a pool of water churns and spits. The water is bubbling so savagely that it belches out onto the ground, and billows of steam rise up, great clouds in the air. The smell is so bad I want to throw up. Through the steam, the High Priestess emerges, her red veils drawn back so that her white ceramic mask greets us. Riker stiffens beside me. I know why. To see a priestess's face is to be cursed, a lesson I learnt back when I fell in the pit. Since I've already seen her scarred, worn face, I don't bother worrying about it. The ceramic mask prevents Riker from really freaking out, but it's obvious that he's uncomfortable. The High Priestess shuffles forward, hunched over. The other 5 priestesses move around us and fan out against the cavern wall behind their leader. 8,000 years ago, this cavern was used by nomadic wanderers to make sacrifice to their gods, she says. I'm always surprised by how strong her voice is given her bent back and her age. She points to some crude markings on the wall, her bony fingers shaking slightly. Their sacrifices would boil to death, screaming in agony as their flesh was sloughed from their bones. My gag reflex threatens to kick in, but I don't let it. Why am I here? The High Priestess ignores me. People outside Freetown consider our rituals barbaric, but when you compare our fights to the practices of the past, cold hard steel between the ribs seems far more humane, don't you think? I don't think. I fold my arms across my chest and glare at her. She was the one who sent the priestess's assassin to kill me. I haven't forgotten that. Won't be forgetting that anytime soon. The old viper regards me with weak blue eyes from within her mask. You would think it more humane if we were to adopt the practices of your old home, perhaps. A halo around the neck and suddenly we have clean deaths all round. No pain, no fear. I can see why that might be appealing, girl, but that's not what sacrifice means. Sacrifice means pain and suffering. It means blood. It means screaming. There has to be fear for it to mean anything at all. Well, I tell her, you certainly have a flair for inspiring that. The other priestesses sigh in unison, the sound high-pitched and barely there, underscored with a weird clicking noise, a creaking that couldn't possibly come from them. An involuntary shiver cuts through my body. I'm not the one the people are afraid of, girl. It's the gods they fear. The repercussions of their actions should they choose to act unwisely. I want to snort at how preposterous that sounds. I know it's a thinly veiled threat, though, a subtle subtext that might have once confused me, but I am now learning to understand. You've had a vision about me, I say, wanting to cut straight to it. The High Priestess tips her head to one side, slowly approaching us. She considers me for just a moment before carrying on to stop in front of Riker. He averts his eyes, staring sideways at the cavern wall, anywhere but at her. I watch horrified as she extends a gnarled hand and places it over his chest. I saw this one, saw the pain you will bring him. She slowly rubs her hand up and down over his chest, and I feel a burning wall of anger rush up through me. I don't like her touching him. I don't like it at all. From the awkward way Riker's hands twitch at his sides, like he wants to swat her away, he's not having much fun either. I would warn you away from this girl, son of Matthew, but my breath is precious to me these days. I don't like wasting it. And besides, there will be such value to your sacrifice, just like there was in your father's. The gods will be thoroughly appeased. Riker goes utterly still, and I know that if she were anyone else, his hands would be on his blades, and her body would be on the floor. His eyes flicker to mine, and I see my own emotion reflected there. Worry, anger, fear. What are you talking about? Why will I bring him pain? I like to think I ask these questions to keep myself from launching at her, but my reasons are very different. She's scared me. I don't want to hear the word sacrifice come from her mouth where Riker is concerned. She withdraws her hand, though I can tell she does it reluctantly, and faces me. She shuffles forward until her face is nearly level with my shoulder. Despite the overwhelming stench in the room, her breath feels foul against my skin. Freetown is on its knees because of you, child. We saw that it would happen. It came to pass, and now new events have been set in motion. Your role here is altered, will alter the way our collective lives forever. Your connections with, she looks at Riker, certain people will cause pain and suffering for all parties concerned. The torches on the wall waver as one, an eerie spectacle before strengthening again. So what are you saying? That you want me to stop seeing Riker? A low titter echoes around the room as the priestesses react to my question. To hear them laugh is bewildering for more reasons than one. I have barely heard them made any sound before, let alone express themselves in such a way. But, more to the point, I find it hard to see what they find so funny. The High Priestess gestures with her hand, a tired flick of her wrist, and they immediately fall silent. I have already seen both your futures. Your paths are as entwined as any two I have ever seen before. It would be pointless telling you to stay away from one another. It wouldn't happen, and besides, why should I mourn the tragedy of doomed lovers when the outcome is of such benefit to me? Now I really want to hurt her. Riker is still a statue, his eyes rain fire. I suck in a deep breath, letting it flood my lungs. This is what Jack has shown me to do when I feel my temperature getting the better of me. If you don't mind, I really want to get back to my brother. The woman knows about my brother. She knows all too well that he is still unconscious after being carried all the way from the sanctuary with a near-fatal stomach wound. She's offered none of the priestess's supposedly advanced medical capabilities to help him. I'm okay with that, though. I'd rather Elle attended to him than let any of them near him, ever. I've seen his path, too, the High Priestess tells me. Your brother is strong. She tips her head again to one side in that seriously freaky way, and a cold finger runs down my spine. He fights. He fights hard. He has been fighting hard. Every day he seems to rally, his stomach wound healing increment by slow increment, but he just won't seem to wake up. The High Priestess clips under her breath. The body heals, but the soul battles. Maybe it wants to be set free. Maybe my brother's soul wants to be set free? What the hell does she mean by that? That he wants to die? I imagine that's how the crazy old witch's mind works. Beneath my feet, the ground rumbles angrily, sending urgent vibrations up through the soles of my boots. Riker places his hand on my arm, guiding me closer to his body. The High Priestess steps to the side as a violent jet of water erupts from the pool, stinking and bringing with it clouds of oppressively hot steam. My lungs are on fire as Riker and I press ourselves back against the damp, slick cavern wall, avoiding the boiling hot water as it rains down. The priestesses don't seem to care. I think it's time to go, Riker whispers into my ear. His voice is all caution, all hard edges. Yes, it's time for you to go, the High Priestess agrees. But first, I do need your word regarding one thing, girl. So there is a point to this meeting after all. I lock the old lady in my sights. A fat bead of condensation rolls down her white ceramic mask, growing in size and momentum before it reaches her chin and then drips down onto her robes. It amazes me how I can fixate on small, unimportant details, where before they would simply have been a part of a landscape surrounding me, an observation to be made, categorized, and filed away. Now I have to concentrate. Which will it be? The High Priestess pauses. Her withered hand slowly reaches up and goes to her mask. Riker tremors and turns his back on her so that he's facing me. His eyes are wide, shoulders stiff. Don't, Kit, don't! But the High Priestess's mask is already gone, and I'm looking her square in the eye. She smiles, her upper lip warped by the angry purple scar that bisects it, and lifts her chin. She makes sure I see every line, every grotesque scar. She seems pleased when I don't flinch. You stare down trouble like death come too early, Falinkitch. That trait might be just the one to save you in the months to come. Riker's eyes are locked on mine. I can feel them burning into my skin, and I reach out and touch the tips of my fingers to his. The contact doesn't seem to do much to ease him. The old woman before me glances down at our hands, and a terrible smile spreads across her face. Grave decisions, Falinkitch, they come the hardest to us all. I need you to remember what I said to you about sacrifice, that without pain, without fear and suffering, it is worth nothing at all. I learned those lessons a long time ago. You have my word, I snap. These riddles are treacherous. I feel it within every part of me. The smile on the High Priestess's face sours. She steps closer so that she is shoulder to shoulder with Riker. He closes his eyes, breathing in deeply through his nose. You're a fool if you think you know what pain is, Falinkitch. But you will. There you go. That's it. The end of my teaser chapter. I did mess up a couple of times. I'm really sorry, and I hope that it didn't ruin it too much. But I'm really excited to release this book. I have some pretty big surprises, pretty big twists and turns, and I think you're gonna like it. I hope you are anyway, that's the goal, right? So yeah, keep your eye out. I think maybe mid-February, early March is the release date, and yeah, add it to